Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something that will sting. Have you ever wondered what a woman really thinks and feels when you're not around? Not what she tells you, not what you imagine, but the truth, the hidden, unspoken storm inside her mind. Because here's the reality. Absence doesn't just test love, it exposes it. When you step away, she isn't just waiting, she's deciding. She's comparing the way her world feels with and without you in it. And sometimes, the silence says more than any words she's ever spoken. You think she misses you, and maybe she does. But sometimes that longing hides another layer, a questioning, a weighing of who you are against who you could be. Because women don't measure a man only by how he makes them feel when he's present. They measure him by the echo he leaves when he's gone. Do you leave her restless, hungry, yearning for the energy you bring? Or does she slip back into her life, almost as if you were never there at all? That's the brutal truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder. Sometimes it makes it grow colder. And here's the part most men never hear. Women test silently. They notice how they feel in the quiet spaces between your presence. If your absence creates calm, she wonders if you were only chaos. If your absence creates longing, she feels addicted to your energy. If your absence feels like freedom, she questions why she ever felt tied to you in the first place. And yet, men go blind to these invisible calculations, thinking loyalty is automatic. It never is. Attraction is not a static flame. It burns brighter or it fades into smoke depending on the weight of your presence versus the comfort of your absence. You need to understand that her mind works in loops when you're not there. She replays your words, your tone, your choices. Did you lead with strength, or did you crumble under pressure? Did you spark her imagination, or did you bore her into silence? Every absence is an experiment in her subconscious. Do I crave him, or do I forget him? This is the part no one tells you. Women rarely confront you about these feelings. They don't say, "When you're gone, I don't miss you." They just drift further away, slowly but surely. When you're not around, she doesn't just sit still. Her emotions don't pause until you return. They expand, they wander, they compare. A woman's mind is never silent. It's constantly scanning, constantly feeling. And in your absence, she's measuring the gap between who you are and who she needs you to be. That's the invisible test you didn't even know you were taking. And many men fail it, not because they're bad men, but because they misunderstand how women feel when left with their own thoughts. Let me tell you something raw. When you step away, your absence becomes a mirror for her. It forces her to face the truth of how much energy you actually bring into her world. If she feels lighter when you're gone, she starts associating you with heaviness, with stress, with noise. If she feels emptier without you, she starts associating you with meaning, with connection, with intensity. That's why some men get replaced without warning, not because they weren't good enough on paper, but because they didn't leave a powerful enough imprint when they weren't there. This is why confidence matters more than words, why purpose matters more than promises. A woman doesn't sit there counting the things you said. She feels the energy you radiate when you're gone. Did you leave her with curiosity, with respect, with admiration? Or did you leave her with doubt? You see, most men only try to impress in the moment, but the true measure of a man is what lingers when the moment is over. The way she thinks about you when she lays in bed alone, staring at the ceiling. The way your voice echoes in her head when another man tries to flirt with her. The way your energy pulls her back into your orbit, even when you're not reaching out. And here's something you must burn into your mind. If she stops thinking about you when you're not around, the relationship is already halfway gone. Because a woman who feels nothing in your absence will soon convince herself she needs nothing from your presence. That's how quiet breakups begin. Not with fights, not with drama, but with silence, with indifference, with the slow death of emotional memory. There's a brutal truth men don't want to hear. When you're not around, she feels the full weight of her options. The world is constantly whispering to her. Other men, social media, endless attention waiting to be claimed. She may not act on it, but it's there, feeding her subconscious. And in that space, she doesn't just miss you. She measures you. She compares the security, excitement, and presence you give against the possibilities her mind imagines when you're not by her side. This isn't about cheating, it's about psychology. Women are emotional investors, and like any investor, they analyze returns. When you're gone, she asks herself, do I feel safer with him or without him? Do I feel more alive with him, or is he draining me? The truth is, she can adore you when you're near, but if your absence feels like relief instead of ache, she begins to see cracks in the bond. That's the test many men fail without ever realizing it. And think about this, your absence doesn't just reveal what she feels about you. It reveals what she feels about herself when she's with you. Does she feel elevated, or does she feel smaller, silenced, unseen? Because when you're not around, she replays the way you made her feel, the way you spoke to her, the way you led or failed to. She notices the tone of your voice, the look in your eyes, the presence or absence of conviction in your actions. Every small detail gets magnified in silence. Here's the part you've never been told. Women long for men whose absence still holds weight. The kind of man whose energy lingers like a shadow, whose presence is felt even when he's not in the room. That's what makes a woman obsessed. That's what makes her heart race when she sees your name light up her phone. Not the gifts, not the sweet words, but the invisible pull that doesn't let her forget you. If you want to know what she really feels when you're not around, ask yourself, does my absence echo inside her, or does it vanish into nothing? Because if she doesn't feel your absence, she's already preparing a future without you. And by the time you notice, it will be too late. When you're not around, her emotions don't sit quietly in a corner. They collide like waves against the walls of her mind. She might smile in front of friends, laugh at her phone, distract herself with endless scrolling. But deep down, there's a storm. And in that storm, she asks herself questions she would never dare to speak out loud. Questions like, do I feel cherished, or do I feel replaceable? Am I holding on to him out of love, or out of fear of being alone? These are the moments that decide the future of the relationship. Not the dates, not the dinners, not even the arguments, but the quiet time when you're gone. You see, most men think absence is neutral. They believe nothing is happening when they're not there. But in truth, those moments are the most powerful. That's when her subconscious is building stories about you. Stories that either keep her tied closer or push her further away. And here's the harsh part. Once her mind begins to write a story that doesn't need you, it's almost impossible to rewrite it. She will still smile at you. She will still take your calls. She will still lie next to you in bed. But deep inside, she's gone. Women live in feelings, and feelings don't pause. When you're absent, she notices what she feels when she's left with only her thoughts. If you've left a strong impression, her body aches for you. Her mind replays your presence, and her heart burns for your return. But if your presence was weak, her absence becomes freedom. She feels lighter, calmer, even more herself. And once a woman associates peace with your absence, her love begins to erode like sand slipping through her fingers. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. Women don't fall out of love in big explosions. They fall out of love quietly, piece by piece, in the empty spaces where a man thought nothing was happening. By the time she's truly gone, she's already been gone 100 times before in her mind. And you never even noticed. That's why the greatest danger isn't another man. It's indifference. If she doesn't feel you when you're not there, she's already replacing you with the one thing more powerful than desire: peace. When you're not around, her imagination becomes the battlefield. Understand this: a woman's mind is never idle. It paints pictures, creates scenarios, writes stories. And in your absence, those stories are either keeping you alive in her heart or burying you without a trace. She doesn't just miss you, she imagines you. What are you doing right now? Who are you with? Are you working on your goals, building yourself, standing tall in your purpose? Or are you wasting time, scrolling, doubting, shrinking? Her imagination fills in the gaps, and the version of you she sees in her head can either draw her closer or push her further away. This is why discipline matters. This is why ambition matters. Because when you're not there, the picture she paints of you determines whether she feels pride in you or disappointment in you. If her mind sees you as a man in motion, she clings harder. If her mind sees you as stagnant, she detaches quietly. Men think women need constant contact, but it's not about constant attention. It's about the image you leave behind when you walk away. Think about it. If your absence triggers her curiosity, if she wonders, what is he building right now? Who is he becoming? Then your absence works for you. But if your absence triggers suspicion, fear, or boredom, it works against you. And she won't always tell you this. She won't confront you directly. Instead, she'll let her imagination run wild, and that imagination becomes her truth. And here's the secret. Women fall deeper in love, not when you're present every second, but when your absence is filled with respect and admiration. When she imagines you moving with purpose, when she trusts you're not just wasting your life away, when she feels your strength even in silence, that's when obsession is born. She doesn't need to know every detail of your life, but she needs to feel that you're a man she can believe in, even when she can't see you. But if your absence leaves her mind restless, doubting, anxious, she starts rewriting the story of your relationship without you in it. And the cruelest part? She may not even realize it's happening until one day she wakes up and feels nothing where love used to live. When you're not around, her emotions swing like a pendulum, back and forth between desire and detachment. One moment, she might ache for your presence, replaying the way you touched her, the way your voice wrapped around her like a shield. The next moment, she might feel herself drifting, wondering if the space without you feels more peaceful than the space with you. This is the silent tug-of-war every woman faces when she's left alone with her thoughts. And most men never realize they are the subject of that battle until it's already been lost. Her heart wants to crave you, but her mind is protective. It watches, it tests, it guards against the danger of giving too much away. If your absence stirs more longing than calm, she becomes attached, even addicted. She feels the magnetic pull of your presence even when you're gone. But if your absence stirs more relief than desire, she begins to detach in ways you'll never see coming. And once a woman starts detaching emotionally, it's almost impossible to pull her back. Men think love is steady. It's not. Love is alive, shifting with every silence, every distance, every gap between one moment and the next. The way she feels when you're gone is the truest reflection of the bond you've built. If she's restless, eager for your return, you've carved deep into her soul. If she's indifferent, living lighter without you, the bond is already breaking. And here's the cruel twist. She might not even tell you. She'll keep smiling, keep playing the part, while inside, the thread is unraveling. Understand this. Women don't detach all at once. They detach quietly, in stages. First, she feels the silence. Then she starts filling it with other things. Her friends, her work, her own dreams. Then, she realizes she no longer checks her phone for your name. By the time you notice she's colder, more distant, she's already been gone for months in her heart. And you thought everything was fine. What she really feels when you're not around is the truth. No one tells men. She's constantly measuring whether your presence is worth her surrender. Desire or detachment. That decision is being made in silence, right now, when you're not there. When you're not around, Her subconscious makes decisions that her conscious mind won't admit. This is the layer most men never see, the hidden courtroom in her thoughts, where your worth is constantly being judged. She doesn't sit there writing a list of pros and cons. Her subconscious simply feels, weighs, and decides. And once it rules you as unforgettable or disposable, everything you do afterward gets filtered through that judgment. If she sees you as unforgettable, your absence becomes magnetic. She feels your presence even when you're nowhere near. She hears your voice when she reads something funny. She imagines your reaction to her stories. She longs to share her world with you. That's when she scrolls through your photos just to feel closer. That's when your absence builds desire instead of destroying it. But if her subconscious rules you as disposable, then silence feels like freedom. She doesn't ache. She doesn't long. She feels lighter, unchained, even stronger without you. And that's the most dangerous place you could ever be as a man. The part men miss is that this decision isn't made in dramatic arguments or grand gestures. It's made in the smallest of details. How you carry yourself, the tone of your voice, the discipline in your habits, the way you treat her when no one is watching. Those moments echo louder in her subconscious than any expensive gift or hollow promise ever could. You can talk about love all day, but if her subconscious feels she's better without you, no amount of words will save you. Here's the truth. A woman's subconscious is her compass. It protects her, it guides her, it warns her. And once it whispers, he's not the one, she might still stay, she might still smile, she might still give pieces of herself. But deep down, she's already planning an exit. She's already imagining life without you. And the scariest part? You won't notice until she's gone, because her body will stay long after her heart has left. So ask yourself this: when you're not around, are you unforgettable or disposable? Because the answer to that question determines everything about how long she stays, how deeply she loves, and how fiercely she chooses you. When you're not around, she doesn't just think about you, she feels who you are. That's the truth men rarely face. Your absence is not empty space. It's a reflection of your impact. If she feels restless, if her chest tightens, if she longs for your presence, it means you've carved a space in her heart that no distraction can fill. But if she feels lighter, calmer, even happier without you, it means your presence has become a weight she no longer wishes to carry. That's how women truly decide the future of a man. Not in his presence, but in his absence. And here's the part that cuts the deepest. Love doesn't die when she stops fighting with you. Love dies when she stops feeling you when you're not there. Silence isn't peace, it's indifference. And indifference is the graveyard of connection. Most men think they lose a woman to another man, but they don't. They lose her to the feeling she discovers in her own solitude. If her soul feels freer without you, no competitor is needed. She's already gone. But listen carefully. This isn't meant to break you. It's meant to wake you. If you want to be the man she craves even in your absence, you must become unforgettable. Not through constant texts or desperate attention, but through your strength, your discipline, your vision, your energy. You must be a man who leaves an imprint so strong that even silence feels alive with your presence. That's how you occupy her mind, her heart, and her imagination when you're not there. So the question is, what does your absence feel like to her? Does it feel like emptiness, or does it feel like peace? Does she crave your return, or does she secretly hope the silence lasts longer? Be honest with yourself, because her heart already knows the answer. Now, I want to hear from you. In your own relationships, do you think your absence makes her miss you, or makes her forget you? Drop your answer in the comments below, because your story might help another man wake up before it's too late. And if this video hit you in the chest, if it made you rethink everything, then do one thing for me. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who needs to hear the truth tonight.